Woo! What's going on, guys? Orange Form coming at you again with another video. And today's video, we're going to do Detroit Lions training camp. We're continuing with that. Yesterday was a day off. And today it was day four. Today was day four. So much needed day off yesterday. Day four, was pretty crazy. But before I start, guys like Tim Twentyman, Eric Schlitt, Jeremy Reisman, Justin Rogers, John Macaron, Jeff Risden. I follow those guys on Twitter or whatever social media that I can, and they put out that info. They are Detroit Lions beat writers. They do all the dirty work, and I get their info, I jot it down, and we talk about it. So they get all the credit, and I give credit where credit is due. And those guys put in the work because they are there. They are there before the fans. They're there before anybody because they work for they are journalists. They are sports journalists. Most of them, anyways. I think they all have something. They all have a website. They all work for some type of news outlet. They work on their own. Some guys work for Sports Illustrated, the Free Press, stuff like that. So those guys put out all that information, and I'm giving it to you. So and then we talk about it. But day four was crazy once again. Coaches had to step in, particularly Dan Campbell, because of the physicality. It was getting too crazy out there. There was a bunch of scuffles, nothing crazy, major fights, but there was stuff going on, and we'll talk about it a little bit. There are a couple injuries as well. Now let's talk about attendance, participation, who played, who did it, who didn't practice, who did practice. Cornerback Stanley Thomas Oliver returned to practice. He was on that NFI list, non-football injury list. So I don't really know if it was an injury that he got hurt outside of the facility. NFI means that you either get sick or you either get hurt, but outside of the Lions' care. So you don't get hurt practicing as a Detroit Lion. You don't get hurt working out in the facility. So he was doing something outside the facility, or he was sick. Don't know. But he came back. And then nose tackle Broderick Martin, who had a little bit of a scare with a foot injury, he came back as well. Running back Sione Vaikai with a hamstring. Nose tackle Roy Lopez has that foot laceration. Those guys were out as well. Then guys that got hurt in practice, and two more guys going down. Two important guys, but it doesn't seem to be serious. Cornerback Terrion Arnold, who's having a really great camp so far, has a calf strain. They don't think it's serious, but they're going to be slow with it. They're going to be slow with them, so expect Terrion Arnold to be out for the next few practices. I'm assuming, if they're going to say they're going to be slow with it, they're not going to rush him back whatsoever. It's a calf injury; those things tend to linger. He's going to need to get a little bit of rehab there. Get the massage, get in the hot and cold tubs, do whatever he needs to do to get that calf back in order. And then linebacker Derek Barnes got hurt too with a hand injury. They say that he'll be fine, and I don't expect him to even miss practice. He'll probably be back tomorrow. Tomorrow they actually go full pads too, which is much needed because these guys got to get some energy out. The tensions were high, like I said. Second practice with guys going after each other. Multiple mini scrums. Offensive lineman Giovanni Manu was going after nose tackle Broderick Martin and vice versa. Those guys went after each other a little bit. Brian Branch, the safety, and all-pro wide receiver. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a couple tussles as well, too. Once, twice, three times, whatever they did. I guess they were going after each other a little bit. I think one beat writer that I read that Amon-Ra St. Brown put his helmet right underneath Branch's chin, and Branch didn't take it very lightly, and he went after him. So it happens. It's football. These guys are raring to go. Third teams were going after each other a little bit too as well. Running back Jamari Small and linebacker Anthony Pittman. Pittman threw Small to the ground. And then both Tristan Colon and Nate Lynn kind of went after each other too, but they reacted. So it was a little bit of a mini scrum. So the boys are fired up. Then Campbell had to stop practice. Whatever he said, he said. I think the physicality died down. They went to a different drill, went to a different style of practice, and everything kind of died down a little bit. Now, there's some O-line talk. Rookie Ratledge, Tate Ratledge, the second-round pick out of Georgia. He moved over to right guard today. Graham Glasgow moved over to center. So keep an eye on this. It looks like so far they are really fast tracking Ratledge to be that center for the Detroit Lions. It's his job to lose, in my opinion. I always thought that maybe Glasgow was going to win it in year one, but it's looking like it's going to be Ratledge. But Glasgow did go there today for center one snaps, and Ratledge moved over to right guard. So he was a natural right guard. That's where he's comfortable. And they interviewed him a little bit afterwards, and he was just saying it's more mental than anything. He goes, O-line play is O-line play. He's like, that part's not the hard part. He goes, yes, guys are faster. Guys do this, do that. He goes, but now it's more mental. I'm the first guy. I have to make the reads. I got to do this. I got to do that. A lot of it's mental. And he goes, I think I'm catching on pretty quick. He goes, I feel comfortable. I feel pretty good. But just remember, he is a right guard. But he's doing well. He's doing well, and he was there for 3-4 practices, whatever he was, 3 practices, I believe, and then they moved over to Glasgow. So Campbell's going to want to see different looks. They obviously want to see him at guard too, because maybe he's just phenomenal guard. He just clicks at guard better than he would center. But he is apparently the heir apparent to that center spot that Frank Ragnow left behind. So we'll see that. Keep an eye on it. And then Hooker, the quarterback 2 battle with Kyle Allen. Second team offense did struggle a little bit. Most of it wasn't Hooker's fault, though. They just weren't in sync. A lot of procedural calls, a lot of missed alignments by players. Hooker did drop a team ball. He did drop a ball in team drills. Showed some frustration on another wide receiver. Don't know who that wide receiver was for an alignment issue. So, the second team was not in order. And the second team O-line was center Kingsley Agwakin. They're really pushing him to be that center too. It feels like so far early in camp. Left guard Coyote Awosika, right guard Nate Mutai, right tackle Jamarco Jones, and left tackle Giovanni Manu. That was your second team right there with guys like Michael Neese. There's Colby Sorslow's in the mix here for a bunch of different spots. Tristan Colon. There's all kinds of guys out here. So they're trying to find that. They're really trying to find the second, third team mix. So we'll see what happens there. That's going to be a long battle throughout camp and preseason. In the secondary, the safeties were really on point today. Safety Eric Hallett especially had a really nice day, the UDFA. Rookie Dan Jackson had a good day as well too. Remember that safety 4 spot is open. You got Branch, you got Kirby Joseph, and then you got probably Avonte Maddox as that S3, and then that S4 is open. So there's a lot of players there that are fighting for that safety 4. Hallett did have an interception off Goff covering J-Mo. Dan Jackson with a blitz sack, and then UDFA Ian Kennelly impressed as well again today. And then the cornerbacks, Arnold was having a very strong day before getting hurt. So this camp, he's showing up. He looks bigger. He looks stronger. He looks faster out there. So and then DJ Reed looks solid in coverage in day 4. Tight ends, it's your typical tight ends. Laporta, right, looking really steady out there. Shane Zylstra, we'll talk about him in a little bit, but he looks like he'd be running away with that third tight end. But just keep an eye on guys like Zach Horton. So, but we'll see there. And then there's some notes. Jake Bates, the kicker, he was 3 for 5 today. He hit from 44, 48, and a long one from 53. But then he missed twice from 53, wide left. His misses seem to be wide left all the time. So he's got some work to do a little bit. He's got the big leg. He's pretty damn accurate. He was really good last year for the Lions. He came through in the clutch many times. He's our kicker of the future, in my opinion. And then number 2, the rookie defensive end, Ahmed Hassanein with a sack in a team period drill. Defensive end, Isaac Uku had a sack as well. Mahogany having a really strong camp to start off. Benny Stonewall, defensive tackle Chris Smith. He just looks really good out there. Number 4, vet cornerback DiCaprio Boodle. What a phenomenal name. That's a guy they brought in, I think, a week ago or a week and a half ago. He stripped the ball from wide receiver Ronnie Bell, ex-Michigan Wolverine wide receiver right there. I think played for the 49ers. Then UDFA, one of my favorite guys, O-line Mason Miller. He was on the struggle bus. He's been struggling for the past 2 practices. UDFA Keith Cooper Jr. and Hassanine beating him in a drill in a 7-on-7. So, Miller's struggling. He's UDFA. It's going to take a lot for him to make this football team. But yeah, there you go right there. And then Goff. Goff was asked a question, and I wrote down his quotes. Hopefully I can read his quotes because I rewrote it down, and my writing's terrible at times. But Goff had a bad day today, by the way. I'm just going to get that out of the way. He had a bad day. He was misfiring all day, apparently. Missing J-Mo, missing Amon-Ra, missed Tesla. He missed a bunch of guys, missed Laporta. He just had an off day. It was a scorcher out there. I'm not making up any excuses, but he did have a rough day. He had a rough day, but he's been asked this question: how is this offense going to be different with John Morton as your new OC? And you can see a little bit of the frustration in him. He's not, he's a very professional kid. He's not a kid anymore. I mean, he's like, I call everyone a kid because I'm an old man. But he's very professional. But you can see the frustration a little bit because he gets asked this question, he said, daily. Every day someone new asks him this question. How is the offense different? So I'm going to try to read the quote that I rewrote. So in every offense, there's formation, shifts, motions, routes, run plays, protections, cadences, and ways you can get in and out of the huddle. A lot of the stuff we're doing in those 7 things I named is the same, and some of it is different. It's hard to argue that question. It's hard to answer that question, sorry. What's different? What's different? What's different? Some of it is the exact same. Some of it is a little bit different. I'm not going to go into the inertia of what's different, but I think the transition from what we were doing last year to John Morton is a lot lesser than you guys are making it seem with the questions I get every day. A lot of it is the same. There is some stuff that we are learning that is new, and it's not that big of a gap between those two. Bang. So that's just pretty much telling you what I've been kind of saying all along. This offense isn't going to change, but there's going to be some different looks. That's it. What isn't broke, don't fix it. It doesn't need to be fixed. John used that quote coming into here. He's not fixing anything. There's no reason to. Now, he's going to put his stamp on this offense and do some things his way, obviously. But like I said, this is the copycat league. This is what happens in the NFL. When stuff is successful, stuff is reused by different teams, different coaches, all that jazz. So he's pretty much just telling you right there. He goes, a lot of it, probably most of it's the same from last year or the years past. He goes, but we're doing different things as well. Different looks, different verbiage, language, different setups, different schemes, looks, all that stuff. So there's going to be some different shit, but most of it's the same. So a lot of people are completely nervous about this offense, saying, hey, man, John Morton was terrible. He was this, he was that. Ben Johnson was flat. Ben. Yes, we do know that. John Morton had struggled as a New York Jet OC. Ben Johnson thrived in Detroit. So there is reason to be concerned, but not much. This offense is still loaded with talent from top to bottom. Top to bottom. You want to be a little concerned about the O-line, I understand that. I do. But the weapons, through the roof. So we'll get more to that too. I'm sure we'll touch on that later on, not in this video, but down the road. Then 3 turnovers on defense. I talked about this already. Wide receiver Jacoby Keeney James did have a fumble. DiCaprio Boodle, the cornerback, he punched out the ball, recovered by linebacker Ezekiel Turner. Eric Hallett picked off Jared Goff on a really nice play. Then a check down pass from Kyle Allen to running back Kyle Robichaux. Defensive lineman Raekwon Williams, Michigan State Spartan, boo. Did strip the ball, made a nice play from behind, stripped the ball out, so good for Raekwon Williams. I am rooting for Raekwon Williams because he's a Detroit Lion now, but I did it as a MSU guy to say, hey, I can't do it. So then rookie Isaac Tesla, he's showing out, I guess. I guess he's making every kind of catch. He had a really beautiful touchdown catch. I think it was from Kyle Allen today, showing he can block as well too. He's very physical in college. That's what this regime loves. They love not only guys that can make plays, blocking other players, but they love blocking players, making catches, all of the above, right? So that's what these guys do well. Isaac Tesla does it well, and he's having a really nice camp so far. He made a nice block for the running back. Don't know who the running back was, but it was like a 50-yard scamper for a touchdown. Play of the day was a 7-on-7. Dominic Lovett was making some noise, another late draft pick out of Georgia, wide receiver with a route to the sidelines. Allen launched it high and outside though. Lovett made a phenomenal one-handed catch. There was some arguments on if he was in or out. Risden said he was out. There's a couple other beat writers said that he was in. The jury's out. The defense was saying he was out, but nonetheless, he made a phenomenal one-handed catch. Tried to keep his feet in, and Dominic Lovett's a good little player. He is a good little player. He's in tough, but he is a good little player. Keith Cooper Jr., the UDFA out of Houston, he's still getting looks at the 3-tech, the 4-eye that Levi and Uzurike mainly had, and then he's also getting some defensive end looks as well. So good for Cooper. He's a 6'5", 280 plus pound defensive lineman that can rush from the inside too. He even said, he goes, this regime, this defense, they're looking for an inside pass rush, and he's pretty much talking about himself because he has pass rush ability. He wasn't a crazy sack guy in college, but he can get to the quarterback, and he's big. So they're using him kind of everywhere. He's in tough too because he's UDFA, but he's getting looks. And then tight end 3, I talked about it. Shane Zylstra is apparently separating himself from the pack. I said keep an eye on Zach Horton. That came from a couple of beat writers as well. I watched a little tape on Zach Horton as well too. He's a good little player, big kid at 6'4.5", whatever, 250 plus, that can run a little bit, and he caught like 12 touchdowns in 3 years. He's a guy that I said keep an eye on, but Zylstra's been around the block a little bit here. A guy that that is always on the bubble, but just tends to make that tight end 3 spot. So, we like Shane Zylstra. Shane Zylstra was a dog in college, by the way. Wide receiver, absolute dog. I got a video of him from a long time ago that I did when I think they first brought him in. He was a monster in college. I don't remember the team he played for. It was somewhere in Minnesota. It was a Minnesota team. It wasn't the Golden Gophers. Or was it? Nah, I don't know, but go look up his numbers. Shane Zylstra, Google it. Google his college stats. He was a dog, man. And that's what he pretty much is at the NFL level. He's a receiving tight end. He's not much of a blocker, but he seems to be running himself from the pack. Again, no pads. But he's playing. He's only working with the 1s and 2s. He's not even playing with the third team. So they like him a lot, man. It's his job to lose, or someone just to completely take it from him. So Shane Zylstra looking good, no pads. We'll see what happens. And he's playing well on special teams as well, apparently. Then defensive lineman Pat O'Connor. He's everywhere. He's getting all kinds of looks all over the place. Like I said, he's playing 4-eye, even defensive end. He's even playing some nose tackle. Roy Lopez got hurt, so he's in there as well. He's a big dude as well. He's getting second team reps, and he's getting some looks at the 3-tech as well. So they're using him everywhere. And remember, like I said, familiarity. I'm saying it wrong, probably. Casey Rogers, our new defensive line coach, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pat O'Connor, Super Bowl. Pretty sure they won a Super Bowl together. So, he knows his defensive lineman, and he knows Pat O'Connor, and he's using them everywhere. So I think Pat O'Connor's got a really early lead on a roster spot. But again, it's July, no pads, but he's got those looks. So that's good for Pat O'Connor. He had a couple good games last year too, particularly against the Green Bay Packers, one of those games. Then Khalif Raymond, we had a little bit of a scare with the vet wide receiver. He went down, got up gingerly. Campbell quickly ran over to him. It looked like it could have been a possible rolled ankle. He missed 1 rep, then got back in there and blew by somebody like 2 reps later, and he was just fine. But a little bit of a scare for wide receiver Khalif Raymond. And then Manu, Giovanni Manu, was he a 4th round pick last year? 4th round? Holmes used some draft capital to get him. Kid out of Canada, British Columbia. A project. Didn't even dress last year. Apparently he's been struggling a little bit, but even though he's getting those left tackle stats, those snaps, left tackle snaps and left tackle 3 snaps over anybody else. But I guess he's whiffing on too many blocks, or he did in day 4. Pat O'Connor, I guess, made him look really, really silly on one play. He just misses too many blocks, and the words that were used were lack of football instincts. So yeah, he's a developing guy. But right now, he's your back. He's your third. He's basically your third string. He's your third string left tackle because it's Decker when he comes back. Then it's Dan Skipper, and then it's Manu, hopefully. But if he's left tackle 3 by the start of the season, I don't see him dressing much. He's not going to dress much. And, it's early. It's July. I know I keep repeating this. I might as well just wear a T-shirt. It's July. It's July. Camp's early. You know what I mean? So, but he seems to be on the struggle bus a little bit, according to some beat writers, one in particular. So we'll see what happens there. He's the second team guy because Decker's out, but he's really that left tackle 3. That's what he is. That's his left tackle 3, and I don't know how much he's going to dress. And that's it, guys. That was it. I thought I had a couple more things there, but that was it. There wasn't a ton of info today. I think the practice maybe got a little bit taken in a different direction after the physicality stuff was going on again. And I'm sure Campbell is pissed off about this. Campbell preaches physicality. The whole team, Kelvin Shepherd even came out and said, we're staying aggressive, man. We're going after it. We're doing this and that. So maybe Campbell needs to talk to him a little bit, maybe reel him in a bit. You know what I mean? Maybe just a little bit. I get, he's a new DC. He's young, he's fresh, He was a football player at one time too, man. He was a linebacker. He was a pretty good linebacker at LSU back in college. Played for the Lions. You guys know who Kelvin Shepherd is. Didn't have a great NFL career, but he's on that career coaching path. So, does he need to maybe tone it down a little bit? I'm sure they're going to have a talk because now the pads are on. And it's going to get even worse. The physicality comes out to play now. You guys are bopping each other in the mouth with no pads on. When you got pads on, what are you guys going to do to each other? You know what I mean? So, take it easy a little bit, but now you can't. So you're kind of in a weird situation. Guys are dropping like flies. Luckily, there are not too many major injuries. It doesn't seem like. The major injuries are from like last year. The Levi and Rizurike thing just popped up. I think he duped this organization, to be honest with you. I never made a video on it, but I was going to. I still might one day, but that's my feeling on it, that he duped Brad Holmes. Somehow, because this came out of nowhere. He did miss a couple OTA practices. So, but in order for him to get a contract after the season, is that on the Lions for not doing their due diligence, not doing their homework? Does Levi and Wuzurike pull a little bit of a scam, get paid some money? It's a weird situation. I don't want to start. It's just my opinion. My opinion could be completely wrong, but they were even talking about on 97.1. They were like, man, like, where did this come up? Like, did he kind of dupe Brad Holmes? Did he say, hey, I'm good? Then all of a sudden, oh, I'm not good. I'm not good, man. I got issues. OTAs come up. I got issues, man. I got knee issues. Then all of a sudden, I need surgery. Like, you know what I mean? Like, luckily they didn't give him a ton of money. He was never going to get a ton of money. No team was going to give him a ton of money, but I almost feel like Brad Holmes got duped on this. I could be wrong. But anyways, the injuries that are going on, McNeil's obviously serious. He's not back till probably late September, maybe October, Thanksgiving. Rodrigo seems to be, shaving some time off. He was supposed to be back in November, and now it looks like October. And those are the really only injuries right now that are really concerning. Aleem, Levi's done. Aleem and Rodrigo. Everyone else is guys are coming back slowly. A couple guys got hurt. They came back. Guys are working with trainers. Enos Rakestraw is working with trainers he was working with trainers today too, and apparently he has a chest contusion, so they were throwing him some high point balls like up to here. He was stretching out his arms, catching. So that's a great sign that Enos Rakestraw is on his way back too with trainers. How I kind of explained that as well about if you work with trainers. It's a good sign. So there's not a lot of guys that are out that are too concerning just yet and out for huge periods of times. Like some guys are going to miss the first month or so of football though. Aleem, Rodrigo, Makai Wingo, those type of guys will miss, and we need these other guys to get healthy. And this seems to be that they're on the right path. So that's it, guys. I'm rambling, but hey, man, thanks a lot for the video. Thanks for coming in and watching the video. I appreciate it. Day 4 in the books, done. It's a wrap. it's a wrap. Day 5 will be tomorrow. I'll try to get into that too as well. That's it. Day 5 tomorrow, man. I'll guys see you there. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget the notification bell up top. Don't forget to ring that bell. Bing, bing, bong. And don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one. Grit, Detroit versus everybody. Hunting season, baby. Let's go. Boom.